not going to bore you with too much of the detail. It's always better to show rather than tell. But I have put a little bit of pre-thought into this design, and I have a 2 horsepower single phase motor that's nearly just under 2000 RPM. It's probably the biggest single phase motor I can get without going into 3-phase territory. So the idea is we're going to take this bit of angle iron. We're just going to throw parts at this and see what sticks. I was going to cut this out with a grinder, and then I'm like, I have a plasma table.
No point in doing this up now because I still need to weld this shaft onto there. What's the deal? Come on, don't fall. No, come on, stay focused. Hey John, I'm afraid I need a hand off you, if I could. Ah, okay, yeah. A bit higher at the back? Oh, it's sitting on some crap.
No, that's fine.
A bit higher at the back. Bit eyes. Alright. Now just let that cool before you put weight on it. That actually looks really straight.
Oh gosh, good guess. Let's just keep it there.
Yep, keep it there. Thanks, John. I had planned on broaching the pulley and giving it a proper keyway. This is a broaching kit. This is the finest eBay broaching kit that money can buy. And unfortunately, I have every size brooch except the one I want. So it's a 7mm key, and I have a 6mm brooch, and I have an 8mm brooch. So yeah, I'm going to have to think of something else. And that something else is simply drill and tap a hole that will line up with the keyway, and I'll just do it up nice and tight. This is a very snug fit in the bore, and I imagine that I may even need to warm this up a little bit to get it to fit onto the shaft on the motor. So I think with those two features, this will probably do. Ooh. Very nice. I've unplugged it now. Oh yeah. I reckon if I just heat that up slightly, it'll drop on there perfectly. No. Once that cooled, that is on there. How long is that? About as long as a piece of string. I mean, the chickens are annoying, but what do you do? This is a switching box off a Triton workstation, just like the one I've got downstairs. In fact, it was the inspiration to sort of go and try and find one of these, and this is going to be the on and off switch. I like this because I don't have to mess with anything electrically, so everything is still technically above board. Yeah. Now, two of these screws had a completely different style head, and just looking at the marks on here, I think this is how it was mounted. So I'm going to put that on there, and if you have a look at this container, we're over 90 on the corners, so I'm going to bend these over 90 so it sort of dovetails, sort of locks it in. So the two screws will be enough to sort of hold it up, and the dovetails will stop it from coming out, if you like. So we're going to use the geometry of this box, switching box, to help hold it all in. So I've marked and drilled these already. And now I just need to fold them on that line, just a little bit over 90. Alright, I've got a wet rag ready, and I'm just going to tack that and then quickly chill it off. In fact, I'm going to cover this plastic to protect it. So I don't want to melt the plastic. Beautiful. If you'll notice, it's damp, but it's not sopping, okay? Come on. Smashing. That's Bart. I think you can see why I called him that. He's got the biggest giblets I ain't ever seen. My belt finally arrived. Let's see if it's correct. That looks really nice there. I was worried this pulley would be a bit small, but thankfully we have a belt with the internals that are relieved, so this can go around a much tighter pulley, a much smaller radius than one that would just be full. Plus these run a little bit cooler, apparently. Not that I think heat's going to be a huge problem. Anyway, in order to get the belt on, I've got to remove all of those bolts. It is what it is. Oh man, this is such a moment really for me. I'm really excited to see how this comes together. There's one more part that I will need to add. Yeah. I just need to get this sitting straight. And already, it looks like my motor is kicked just ever so slightly off. And that needs to come out there so the belt doesn't rub on that cutout. But that looks, by eye, that looks alright, you know. That is just rubbing. So to fix that belt rubbing issue, I mean, I could just let it go and it'd probably self-clear, but no, I'm not going to do that. That's dodgy. We're going to take this fella and just have that pushing in just ever so slightly. And that's going to do two things. It's going to give me even better contact down here and just keep it away from that edge. All right, after wetting everything. There we go. Smooth. That's literally how it goes on. I guess I could finish it here, really. I know you haven't seen me use it much, but it's actually been a few months since we've last talked. And this is sort of where it's ended up living, right next to the press. And I'd have to say that now that I've used it for a couple of months, first of all, I'm really surprised that it hasn't broken and it just works. And having a wire wheel accessible like this, it's actually been a bit of a game changer. I wouldn't have thought that I would use something like this as much as I have, but having it here, it's really been quite nice actually. It feels a bit rough for my standards. This whole build has sort of been teetering on the verge of, you know, the kind of YouTube DIY channels I'm talking about, where a guy with a singlet, shorts and thongs and a stick welder and a grinder with no guard attached builds, you know, a nuclear power plant on a dirt floor workshop, and somehow it works. It feels it's been a little bit like that this time. I've kept everything pretty low tech within reason. Okay, fine. I cheated with the plasma table, but for the most part, this has been a fairly low-tech build, and I've really enjoyed it. And when I made this, I was building it because I actually really needed the polisher for a job that I was doing, and I was too broke to go and buy one. And I had all the parts laying around, and I needed to keep my brother busy. So here we are. It's not perfect. In fact, bringing it up here onto flat level concrete has really revealed just how wonky it is, but for now it works, and it'll keep working like this. I added this because I just didn't like having the open belt sort of exposed where someone could get caught up in it, so that's sort of there as a cover. It gives you somewhere to, I don't know, put your polish stick while you're using it. What can I say? It's ugly, but it's very practical. And in many respects, that reminds me of myself. But anyway, thanks for watching.